SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from the High Limit Finale Weekend, Texas Motor Speedway. We're here with Night 1 second place finisher Daryn Pittman. Daryn, the second place stuff, it's getting old.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I mean it's tough. It's tough to win races. You know, I mean that hasn't changed since I started doing this, and yeah, just when you have a car good enough to win, it's frustrating, and you feel like you kind of let the team down. Just don't feel like I manage races as good as I should, and obviously I think some of that's not racing as much as I used to. I'm capable of going out there and being really fast for periods. 25, 30 lap races. It's just the longer the race, the harder it is to do it consistently for that amount of time. And then the cream always rises to the top, and Rico and those guys are at the top of their game right now and tough to beat. So you give them an inch, and they're going to take it.
You were setting a good pace out front, and then it seemed like you got in traffic and had to run high a little bit, and it just seemed to mess up your rhythm a little bit.
I was really shocked how much my car changed once I saw the lap back of the pack. Obviously air's critical everywhere, but I was really shocked how much it affected my car. I mean, that's no excuse because it affects everybody's car. It's just how drivers think we can do to manage that, and I just struggled. As soon as I got to where I could even feel them at all, I got really tight, started making a couple bad laps. The first pair of lap cars we got to seemed to be running, one was top, one was the bottom, so there was no clear way around, and you just see it time and time again. The leader gets to lap traffic, and it just backs him right up to the second place car, and it's basically what happened, and Rico drove right by us. So I felt like I kind of got better and sort of figured out what to do for a few laps, got by a couple lap cars, and then just really got stalled out behind a guy there for probably the last 4 or 5 laps, and kind of just felt lucky to hold on to second, to be honest with you. So man, these guys just keep coming down here, and man, bringing a car that's obviously capable of winning, and 3 seconds in a row is frustrating, but obviously it's also encouraging that we get to come back tomorrow and try again, and know that we're already starting off in a good position tomorrow that hopefully we can take advantage of.
Yeah, you're always good here, and the track's been racy. It was racy tonight, and you have a good car. You talk about feeling good coming into tomorrow. You don't have to qualify. You're in the heat race. $50,000. That'd be a good one to win.
Pays 50 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You have to get up on the wheel.
Yeah. I got to try to stay in the seat for 30 laps. That's the hard part. I mean, obviously I think the big talking point is going to be, what's the weather going to do, and hopefully that misses. If they do, if we do get rain, even if it moves out, I mean, rain can affect this place a lot. This dirt is really tricky, and I think tonight was honestly about as good of a track as you're going to see at Texas Motor Speedway. I thought it was pretty racy, and I've come down to this area a lot, and this dirt, when it gets wet, if it can just get wetter and wetter as the night goes on, or if they don't get enough water on it, it can just go away really quick and lay rubber. So I think tonight was probably peak TMS, so hopefully if the weather will stay away, then they can work on it and try to provide that again tomorrow, and if that's the case, hopefully we'll be in good shape.
Last thing, you still enjoy getting in this car every once in a while, and it seems like you have fun doing it. Are you enjoying yourself in kind of this part-time role, and do you see yourself continuing it?
I absolutely enjoy driving this car. It's honestly, I take it as an honor every time they ask me to come back and run. And how much I continue to do that's up to Don and Linda and the rest of the team, to be honest with you. So I enjoy driving for them. When you're doing it part-time, it is sort of frustrating. I definitely struggle with going to the race and not feeling like I have a chance to win and just participating. That's kind of not what I enjoy. But man, every time I get in this thing, it's capable of winning, and it makes me look better than I know I am at this stage and how much that I am running. So I definitely think there's capable drivers that are, could probably do a better job than me if given the opportunity, but I'm thankful for every time they give me the chance, and I definitely do enjoy and hopefully can keep coming back and running for them as much as, hopefully for a few years to come.
Well, congratulations on another solid run.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Welcome to the SprintCarUnlimited.com live post-race show from Texas Motor Speedway. Just finished up the high limit finale, and what a season. And Rico Abreu capped it really the best way you could. He swept the weekend, won last night, and then came back and banked $50,000 to cap that championship off. And again, so we figured we'd jump on here, do a quick post-race show. You can leave comments in the chat. You could also call 1-844-343. I believe that's 8589. It's in a kind of a different color, but give us a call. We'll get you on. Top five tonight: Rico Abreu, Daryn Pittman, Brad Sweet, Justin Sanders, and Gio Scelzi. As we said, wraps up the high limit season. The banquet is tomorrow night. So before we get into anything else, yep, there it is. 844-543-8589, excuse me. And let's go right into the questions. Where are the fans? Stands looked empty, just like Lucas Oil. Actually, it wasn't bad here. I was down in front. This place holds a lot of people. And I thought they had a decent crowd last night for a Friday night in Texas against football. Tonight, definitely more fans. It wasn't as empty as maybe it looked on the overhead. There were still a good amount of people here. Obviously not a sellout. Obviously, they're building this event. I didn't expect it to be a slammer like Vegas. Obviously, being October, you have college football, everything that goes in, all the things that sprint car racing really across the country is fighting at this time of year, but it wasn't as bad as maybe it looked on television. What are your overall thoughts of the dirt track at Texas Motor Speedway? I thought the racing was pretty good this weekend. Yeah, look, I mean, this place has gotten a reputation either rubbering up or being too heavy. Last night was really good, I thought. Talking to the drivers in the pit area, they were all pleasantly surprised with having a top, a middle, a bottom. You could really run anywhere last night, and the race was decent. We got some thunderstorms today, and that really made the track heavy. It wasn't narrow, but it was a little slimy on the bottom. Daryn Pittman alluded to that in his post-race interview with me, which I will put up after we complete the post-race show. But still, all in all, not bad racing in the top five, considering the conditions. Pittman got beside Rico a couple of times. He just couldn't pull the trigger. Brad Sweet then challenged Pittman, just couldn't get by. Again, conditions today with the rain made it a little more difficult. But otherwise, didn't rubber up. The facility's beautiful. And I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see the finale at Texas Motor Speedway. It's been decent so far. Is Anthony Macri potentially going to KKR as Pursley team? No. Macri's staying right where he needs to stay. Should we anticipate any breaking news tomorrow at the banquet? It was kind of quiet this weekend as far as drivers jumping to new rides, etc. Yeah, I'm going to have some breaking news tomorrow at the banquet. As far as I expect it kind of to be spread out over the next month, or really the next couple of weeks. I don't even know what date it is. It's the 18th. But between now and the dirt track at Charlotte for World Finals, I expect scheduling. I think there's going to be some releases as far as, I mean, High Limit's got to release its point fund for non-franchise teams. The World of Outlaws have got to announce what their bonus package is going to be next year. And then we, of course, Sheldon Hodge Shield, any number of things that still haven't been released yet. And then walking through the pit area today, I think it's, where are drivers going? Are they going to come back to High Limit? Are they going to come back to the World of Outlaws? What's going to happen? So I think it's going to be jam-packed, and yes, it'll start tomorrow night, but we'll see what transpires over the next couple weeks. How about Cameron Smith picking up the win at Lincoln? Impressive year for him. Yeah, I actually watched it while I was sitting at Texas, and definitely, guys, we could talk about other tracks, whatever you want. I thought Cameron Smith drove a really good race at Lincoln. He just blew by Raymer, left him sit. There was no challenge there whatsoever. And he seemed to be the class of the field. So, yeah, Cameron Smith, I think he's an up-and-coming guy in our area, or I should say central Pennsylvania. I think he's definitely a guy. You know, we always talk about the California guys are so young, and we really don't get a lot of that in central PA. And Cameron Smith is one of those younger guys, and we're seeing him mature in front of our eyes. And getting a win at Lincoln tonight, $15,000, that's a huge one for him. So, yeah, I like what Cameron Smith's done this season. Thoughts on gravel versus Kofoid? I knew I was going to get that one. You know, I've thought about this most of the day since I watched it. And if I have to think about it that long, you know, I thought Kofoid was beside him in turn 3. I thought gravel used him up a little bit. But you're coming down to the last lap for the win. I mean, you're coming down to the checker. All bets are kind of off when you're coming through the final corner. So I'm not going to beat gravel up for it. Did he use him up? Absolutely, he used him up. There's no two ways about it. Could have Kofoid maybe hit the brakes and went under him? I don't know. He was in there pretty deep. So I'm going to chalk it up to coming down to the checker. Two guys who don't give an inch. And but again, if it happens to gravel now, because I'm going to tell, I don't think Kofoid gives him any quarter next time in that position either. And then it better be the same logic. So we'll see how this, I don't want to call it a rivalry, develops. But did gravel use him up? Yes. That's kind of my opinion. Is it egregious? No, I've seen a lot worse. And he didn't plow into him. It wasn't anything like that, a slide or die type of thing. So I don't know. It's in the eye of the beholder, I guess. Does Daryn Pittman need to invest in some voodoo to finally get a win? Man, I just talked to him about, 4 seconds here is, with the National Open, it's 6. And he said, well, it's nothing like the National Open. So, Darren's a Hall of Famer. He's 47, 48. He's going to be a first ballot guy, true professional. And yeah, he might have to exercise some demons to get back to victory lane, but that car is fast. I expect him in it next year for 10 shows or so. And I'm glad to see him. And I don't root on guys much, but if there's any guy that I hope wins a National Open, it's that guy. Pittman will second guess the start for a long time. Seemed pretty equal. Aber put on an exclamation on the championship, winning the last 2 at Texas. Yeah, I talked to Daryn again after the race, and I will put that on YouTube a little later. It was a little greasy down there. He was trying to time the start, and he kind of got the left kind of in the grease a little. Rico got a good run. He said it wasn't a jump either way. He didn't want to get called for jumping as well, so he was a little cautious. And then Rico just had like a little, nose on him going down the front stretch and shut the door and won. Rico he showed up in crunch time. He has struggled lately. And the thing about Rico, if you look at his season, in between the wins, there have been some struggles. There have been some 8s, 9s, 7s, outside the top 5. And he was kind of in the midst of that coming into Texas, but he got hot this weekend, and he really was the best car in the pit area. Bob on line one. Bob, what do you got?
How you doing tonight, Jeremy?
I'm doing okay, just in the Lone Star State.
Your Penn State Nittany Lions got beat by my Hawkeyes tonight.
I'm not a Penn State fan. I hope
by
they.
a point.
Yeah, I'm not a Penn State fan, so you're not going to hurt my feelings.
I know it. I'm just giving you crap.
Did Florida win? That's the question. Did the Gators win? That's what I need to know.
I don't know on that one.
Well, they were up 13-7.
Anyways, it wasn't a bad race tonight. I would have liked saw Pittman win, but Rico walking away with 300,000 ain't bad.
No, I mean Rico. I mean it was a good race for the conditions they had. Like I said, it rained in the afternoon, pretty hard at the track. In fact, they told me, or I heard up in the tower, that if it would have been almost any other facility, the pits would have been a washout, but they have concrete here. So they were able to put on the race. I don't think it was a bad race for what the conditions they had. So not bad. And yeah, Rico definitely, as the previous person in the chat said it, he put an exclamation point on the season. And he is going to be the top franchise next year, I do believe. I have to check that. I'm not 100% sure. It'll be between him and Brad and KKR.
They must have got rain to the east of us pretty good, because I see the Outlaws got rained out in Illinois.
Yeah.
And Eldora canceled also.
Didn't Eldora push up the start time? Didn't Bobby Pierce win tonight?
Oh, maybe so. I must have missed that.
Yeah, I think
I switched over to see it, and it said this event is over. So yeah.
Yep. No, Bobby
They
Pierce
must have
won.
ran it.
Yep, they got done. I think they got their features done before 8:00.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's good for the people sitting in the stands. Get home at a decent hour.
I'll never complain about that.
No. I was watching the Outlaw race last night, and as soon as it got over, I switched to high limit, and they were done already. So I didn't get to see any of that.
Well, this is a time of year when they kind of put things in overdrive. They get done quicker. And, I mean, look, I wish they'd do that all year round because, I think people's attention spans are shorter. And I think it would be good for the sport if you could get done earlier, get home, maybe catch another race, or, I mean, for me, do post-race shows and whatnot. So hopefully the sport learns from that, and we can see more efficient shows moving forward.
Yeah, when you only got 24 cars and no support class, I guess there's no excuse for not being done early.
Amen.
And I think Tony Laporta does the best he can to drag it out even further than it should be.
Well, they obviously they had some track work to do in between. That was a part of it. They did their best to try and get the track as racy as possible.
Yeah, I'm just glad he explains the dice roll to me every night, because after seeing it 800 times, I think I got the gist of it.
Well, I think like I said, I think they do that for new viewers in case somebody didn't see it. And, I don't know. I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, I thought overall it was a pretty good season.
Yep. High Limit had a good season, and we'll see what happens.
I don't know. Gravel's just going to cruise home.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much locked up the World of Outlaws title.
But basically, that was all I wanted. So thanks for taking my call.
No problem, Bob. Thank you very much for calling.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. What else we got here? Does Baylog win Outlaw show Sunday? I mean, I'm assuming you mean at Angel Park. He's definitely one of the favorites. It's a place he's won at many times. I'm going to say no, though. I'm going to say it's go for it or gravel. I just think right now those two guys are on another level. During the Dirt Track World Championship broadcast, TJ suggested that next year's Lucas Oil Chase for the championship event at Eldora might have another division next year. Have you heard anything? Maybe High Limit and Lucas Oil late models. I would kind of doubt that. That's just, it gets to be too much, which again would have hurt them this week with the weather. I assume that's why Eldora, pushed it through. So I don't see that happening. I see High Limit basically doing a standalone finale. That wouldn't make sense to me. You don't want one to overshadow the other. Eric Prutzman hanging out around the CMR 7BC this weekend. Future home? Maybe. Let it go at that. You take that wink, wink as for what it's worth. Any overall thoughts on year 2 of High Limit? Yeah, I think they continue to make their run efficient shows. Last year, I gave them a B plus. Obviously the season just ended a half hour ago. I think it was another solid season. And I think I think one of the things that you have to take away from this year is they came out with the franchise system at Vegas. They followed through with it. It's established. The drivers like it. I'll tell a little story. I was at Port Royal, and Aaron Reitzel, I was talking to him just about, after his win. And I didn't even mention High Limit. And he made the comment how much he enjoys running High Limit. And how, he listed all the reasons. They listened to him, transparency. They take the drivers' considerations. They talk to him and take their advice, or they consider their ideas and whatnot. And, that says a lot. I think, just walking the pit area, I walk a lot of pit areas throughout the year, and there's always grumbling. I hear very little in a High Limit pit area. And I think that's kind of what the vision of High Limit is. And obviously they're going to pay these franchises. It's established. That was a big thing, coming into this year. What's it going to look like? And now that they put it out, they followed through with it. The franchises are established. The drivers know what they're getting. They know how they're getting paid. That's been worked out with them as well. So, I think it was a good year. I think they can clean up some things, obviously. But otherwise, I think they look good going into the future. We'll see if anybody joins the series in the offseason. If these guys stay, they picked up Gio Scelzi, which I think was good in the second half of the year, and they were able to market him a little bit. So I think that's, I just think things are looking good for them moving forward. The Trophy Cup is a shit show. I have not tuned in yet, but my guy Joseph Terrell will be writing for SprintCarUnlimited.com, and he's keeping me abreast of it, and it seems like it. Great deep dive with Zeb Wise this past week. Did not realize he was that close to the 1A ride. He seems content, but hope to see him back in a car next year at some point. I've been talking with Zeb a couple times, during the summer, and yeah, he was close to the 1A ride. That was a serious discussion. He thought he was actually going to get it, and he didn't. But he's enjoying his time at that Sundollar Restorations. In fact, I think this past week he's wiring a house, so it's not like a gimme job. I saw somebody on Twitter was wanted to kill him for not they were beating him up for quote unquote not following his dream or whatever. He's enjoying himself. He likes being home at night. He has his girlfriend. He has bills. He's got to pay bills, and he's enjoying what he's doing, and seems like he's happy. Said if the right situation comes along, he'd take it. But I think he's going to be selective. I don't expect him to just take a ride to be out there. That's not what he wants to do, and I applaud him for it. I think this sport can chew you up and spit you out, and if you're not in a good situation, you're left trying to make ends meet. So if he's enjoying what he's doing, more power to him. Woo support class last night, 18. What? I couldn't see it. Out of all open wheel cars in Indiana, you would think you could have put a better class on there. And the 68 hot lap sessions, hard to watch. I don't know who chooses I would assume the track chose the support division. I would assume. I do not know if it was a shared show, which is called a JV show, joint venture, or if it was a rental or a sanctioned show. But if it was a sanctioned show or a JV show, 9 chances out of 10, the track chose the support division, not the Outlaws. April 22nd, you said we could book it. Brad Sweet was winning. You're always saying David, Buddy, and Carson are top 3 drivers. You'll point to Rico's lack of top 5s. Someday you'll give Rico flowers. I give Rico a lot of flowers. But if I'm ranking, now I'll have rankings at the end of the year, and I'll look at everything. He might get the 3rd. Gravel has the best driver team in the country. There's no denying that. When you're in the top 5, 82.5% of the time, it's a no-brainer. Sorry, it's a no-brainer. And yeah, consistency matters. But I have never said Rico's not good. And obviously he's developed into a really, really, really good driver. He showed it this weekend. He's a champion. First 410 Sprint Car Championship. He does have a midget title with USAC. Ricky Warner in camp obviously doesn't hurt, and Rico talks about that a lot. But no, I give Rico plenty of flowers. Trust me. And yes, I was wrong about Brad Sweet winning the title. I accept it. Was impressed by Lincoln's track prep. Thought it would have rubbered up by the second 410 feature. Yeah, no, I agree. I was really surprised watching it that it didn't rubber up. They had a good surface. And, hey, Fred Putney did a great job. No surprise there. David Gravel is a crybaby and a hypocrite. He cried about Larson and now this. Gravel's not doing himself any favors. I was talking to somebody today about it. And I don't know if he's trying too hard to embrace this villain role. I do think he likes it. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it looks too forced, I think. Look, Gravel's a super talented driver. Best in the sport right now. And the stats don't lie. That's a fact. You cannot like him. You can not like what he says, and that's fine. He is. There's no doubt. But it does look a little forced now. When I was listening to his post-race interview last night, and he's going along, and then he added the emphasis at the end. He said, "Shit happens." He had to add that emphasis, and I don't know, just seemed a little forced. But I don't know. Maybe he's changing a bit. I don't know, but he's the best driver in the sport right now. Zeb Wise woke up and smelled the coffee. Good for him. Yeah, it's tough to make a living in this sport. And again, I applaud him for just finding something else he's good at and doing. And if he comes back, that's great. And if not, he still likes, he watches a lot of racing. He's only been to one. He was at Eldora. Not a good one to go to when his buddy Tyler Courtney got hurt, so he drove to the hospital. But, yeah, whatever he decides to do, I'm good with, and I think he's handled this thing really well. Interested in what you think High Limit could clean up. Became a big High Limit fan this year. Between Outlaws and High Limit, I think they put on a much better show. I think the tracks they go to, I think they're still trying to figure out their schedule. And I think that's a 5-year process. I don't think I think they got to see what works and what doesn't. What venues work and what venues don't. Just make sure I don't get thrown out of here. Like Florence didn't work. You got to try and build an event, but the crowd was really bad. So I think finding the right tracks is a big thing. And I do know there's going to be changes for their schedule next year. I'll be shocked if they go to the West Coast at the beginning of the year. I do think they'll start in Vegas, but then I think they're going to probably go to Arizona and hook around and come back. Because that first swing didn't work. So I think that's one of the things they need to clean up. They run their shows efficiently. I'd like to see a couple more people on the road with them, just to clean up maybe some officiating things. I think, I think that's something they'll look at in the off season. Just some tacking issue, at times. Just some little things like that. But I thought this year was better than last year. And I think they're making strides. Again, we got to remember, a new series. It's still a new series. So once they get that schedule hammered out, get everything, they got to release that point fund for the non-franchise teams. I think that's the next step for them. I hear it's good. I don't know what it is, but I hear that people are going to like it. So, and then we'll also see what the Outlaws do. The Outlaws run an efficient show too. I'm by no means disparaging. I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. I'm Switzerland. I just report what I see and give opinions on what I see. The Outlaws run an efficient show. The Outlaws have a good product, and I think we're going to have 2 national series. Ryan Timms does a great job passing cars in heats and firing off very strong in restarts. It was big for him at Knoxville, but he seems good in heats most nights. Any driver comparisons come to mind? I have to think about that one. I expected him to be a little better down here at Texas. I may have placed a wager on him yesterday and lost. Somebody who fires off good. You know, how about Brad Sweet a few years ago in World of Outlaws heats? He would start in the second row and get to the dash. He did it a lot. His last championship year with the Outlaws. Well, actually, his last 2 years with the Outlaws. He didn't always time great, and he was able to pick up spots in his heat races and get to the dash. Did it a number of times. So I would say Brad was really good at that as well. Sammy Swindell, excellent at that. I would say that was one of Sammy's strong suits. You know, really taking off in heat races. More bull rings. Amen. I'm not gonna fight you on that one. Not gonna fight you on that one. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our show. I mean, we did about 37 minutes. If these post-race shows work, if they continue to be supported, we'll continue to do them at different times. We're going to do another one on November 15th from Baps Motor Speedway. That'll be the last 410 sprint car race in the country. I think we got another one. RJ Johnson, Gravel, Kofoid, Macedo, Macri, Rico, Timms, Reitzel. Is that your top 7? No, I don't agree with that one. Don't agree with that one. I would change. I can't put Macri ahead of Rico. Can't do that. Rico has 20 wins. I can't do that. I think Rico will hit the big 3 next year. Hope we can make a bet on that. Maybe we can, but it is subjective. We don't have an official ranking system. I will tell you this. When I do my rankings for SprintCarUnlimited.com, I pine over them for quite a long time and dig up a lot of stats. There is an eye test as well. I don't know. When can we bet on sprint car racing in Pennsylvania? Good question. And to me, this is going to sound elitist. If it's not in Pennsylvania, it might as well not be anywhere. It's the biggest area for sprint car racing in the country. So I guess we got a couple more. I'll answer anything while I'm sitting here. 69K's last race of the year. It might be. I maybe see them showing up at the Sprint Showdown at BAPS. I did not ask Don Kreitz Jr., so I don't know. We'll see. Will High Limit schedule be out tomorrow? No, it will not. I will be at the banquet, though, giving some updates. How many seasons left for Sweet? Good question. I think that's still up in the air. Still up in the air. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Again, thank you to everyone who joined us. Hopefully these post-race shows do well, and then we'll keep doing them. Again, if you like the content on our YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to check out our daily exclusive content, head over to SprintCarUnlimited.com. It's only $35 for a year. We have plenty of breaking news on there. But again, I appreciate it. And we'll be back in Pennsylvania next week. Stay tuned.